I started by grabbing a mop bucket from Dollar Tree. Even though this bucket is already a dark gray, I am going to go over it with Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant. This is just a darker gray, and believe me, there is a difference between the chalk paint and the color of the bucket. Also, don't forget to take the handle off, and I will show you why later on in the video. So I only did one coat of that Elephant chalk paint, let that dry. Then I'm using Waverly chalk paint in the color Mineral. This is just a lighter gray color. I then found this awesome sponge from Dollar Tree, just cut it up. I didn't need the whole thing. I just put a small amount of the Mineral onto this sponge and just began dabbing it all throughout the bucket. You want to make sure that some of that darker gray is still peeking through, and then just keep blending until you have this galvanized metal look. So if you feel like you put a little too much of the lighter gray, just add a little bit more of that darker gray and just keep blending until you are satisfied. I then am using a page out of this farmer's market calendar. I'm going to be using the crisp apples. And you want to make sure that you have some of your Mod Podge handy. So first, I didn't want to use the whole page because it's not going to fit on my bucket. So I just cut out some of the words that I was not going to use. I mostly just wanted the saying where it says crisp apples, and then the picture of the apples itself. So once I had the crisp apples cut out, just applied a generous and even amount of Mod Podge onto the back of it, and then just place that right at the top of the bucket. Just make sure you smooth it out with your fingers, make sure there are no wrinkles or air bubbles. However, if you do end up having some wrinkles in this project, I was okay with that because I felt like it made it just look a little bit more rustic and weathered. Then I just applied a generous amount underneath the saying, and this is where I'm going to add the picture of the apples. And as you could tell, I did leave a small gap in between both of the cutouts. And then you want to just seal and protect the paper with another layer of Mod Podge. Go ahead and allow that to completely dry. Now, to make the bucket look a little bit more beat up, and then also to kind of blend the cut edge of the calendar sheet, I am using a brown acrylic paint. So I'm just putting a small amount of the acrylic paint on my paintbrush, and I begin just dabbing it all around the edge of the calendar cutout. And I do use my fingers just to blend in that acrylic paint. And you want to just continue doing this all throughout the bucket until you are satisfied to how this looks. And once it is dry, look at how awesome, weathered, and rustic this came out. Next, I got this red and white buffalo check fabric from Hobby Lobby. You want to make sure it is big enough for this bucket. So I just placed the fabric inside of the bucket. Make sure you have enough excess going along the edge of the top of the bucket. Begin hot gluing the bottom of the fabric inside of that bucket. And then once you have that all glued down, now with that excess on the top of the bucket, you want to just start hot gluing that right underneath the brim of the bucket. So now go ahead and you could attach the handle back onto that bucket. I can't believe how many times I said the word bucket. But anyways, now we're going to cover up the handle. So I just grabbed some jute string from Dollar Tree. You want to begin by just dabbing a small amount of hot glue on the edge of the handle, and then just begin rotating the handle and just start twisting that jute string all along. Add a little bit of hot glue every now and then. And once you get towards the end, just add a little bit of hot glue and then just hold down that last piece of the jute. And look at how adorable this is coming out. I then looked out and found these fake apples from my thrift store. However, you could find something like this from Hobby Lobby, Walmart, even Michael's. So I didn't like the color, but I did end up keeping 3 in the original color, but I wanted some to be red. So I'm using Crimson chalk paint by Waverly and began painting the apples using a little bit of antique wax just to kind of make them look a little bit rough around the edges. And then I added some shopping bags to the bottom of the bucket, added some burlap on top just to cover up those bags, put those apples right inside, and there you go, guys. This came out so cute. I could not be happier. I hope this inspires you guys to create your own in your own special way. If it did, please be sure to sprinkle the love. Thank you so much, and I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.